I just can't take no pleasure in killing. Just some things you gotta do. Don't mean you have to like.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured? You got any idea how much blood jets out of a guy's neck when his throat's been slit?
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Radio podcast with my good friend and co-host, Mr. Tony of the fucking Dead, with another episode of the Ghouls of Midnight. And this time we were revisiting Iced 1988, where he chills them and then he kills them. I'll have to debate with that a little bit, but directed by Jeff Whitney. Cast consists of at least the main players, Deborah DeLiso as Trina, Doug Stevenson as Corey, Dan Smith as Jeff Stinson, and Joseph Allen Johnson as Alex Bourne, not Jason Bourne's brother. Although he could be. We never know.
Never know.
Plot is, years ago, their dear friend was killed when he fell from a cliff while skiing, drunk, might I add, for the love of a woman. Now, years later, they have all been invited to a remote ski resort by an unknown stranger, although that's a realtor. As they arrive, they begin to suspect something is not right. But by the time they realize, it's far too late. Someone is stalking them, seeking revenge for a loss none of them understand. Okay. And by the time the sun rises on their desolate cabin, they'll all be iced. All right. So this was your pick because obviously we alternate week to week. And so what was it about this film that you wanted to visit or revisit?
Well, it's definitely a visit. I've never seen it before, but I know it's
You
like
had
a
heard of it
sought after
before.
movie. It's a sought
Yeah.
after movie among the tape heads and stuff like that. And I always like thought the cover looked cool, and I was like, oh, I love skiing slashers are kind of neat, I was
Hmm.
like, there's not too many of them, so I was like, I finally want to get this over with. Like, I want to watch it, and
Yeah.
I did. Boy, did I!
Yeah. So as a plot sort of surmises, we start out the film. We have this group of probably 20 somethings, I would assume, at least kind of like what they're going by here. Friends getting together on a ski resort. And right away, we have Corey, who is kind of helping Trina like take one of her skis off. And so you can see there's like a traction there. And but then walks up Jeff Stinson, who is a part of the group, but he's kind of like the outcast. Like he's kind of like the weird dude, but everybody accepts him because one of the girls grew up with him as a child and is friends with him. So he's part of that little group in some way. But he had come up with Trina, assuming they were going to be an item. Like, and we find out later that he was kind of set up to be like a possible romantic interest for Trina, but it never really aspired.
Yeah.
But we don't get that right away. Right away, we're just kind of like, well, what's going on? Because she isn't saying a whole lot. And the two guys, Corey and Jeff, decide they're going to have a competition of skiing in the middle of the night, going down the slope. And I guess the winner gets the girl without her even having a say in it.
She knew who the winner was going to be ahead of time anyway. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't matter who won that race.
But yeah, so the group, for the most part, they don't really treat Jeff with any real respect, but they are kind of letting them be in the group different times of different things that happen. So Jeff and Corey, they're racing down the hill. It's two guys just competing for the affection of Trina. At some point, Corey kind of like crosses in front of Jeff and makes him fall, wipe out. And then there's this moment where Corey turns. He's like, "Hey, man, you okay?" Like, I don't think he meant to do it, but the way these guys sometimes behave, you never know if they actually respect the guy at all or not. But he's trying to check on him, make sure he's okay. And of course, Jeff's pissed and throws his poker, the pole at him, and that's kind of into that there. And then the next thing I know, we're back into his like cafe and the lodge, and yeah, you can pick it up from there if you want. Just kind of explain what's going on.
Oh, well, see, I'm terrible with the names. Jeff is the guy that threw the poker.
Stick. That's Justin.
Yeah, he's getting plastered. They're all drinking stuff. They're all going to have a good time in that. Nothing's wrong for them, but he's pissed off. And he said to her, like, you came up here with me. And she's like, I came up here alone. Before that, and like I said, like he's getting drunk and he's talking to somebody that's not there, and that's
a key moment too.
Yeah, and he's like back. I don't know. He just like he's all over the place, really, and like I said, they're just having their like a typical '80s fun time. I guess they're college students, and then there's another moment after that, like he's in his room and he's still kind of drinking and he can hear them in the other room like laughing and stuff. So he goes into the room and he's all pissed off. He's like, she was with me. And he's like, you gotta chill out, man, and get out of here and all that kind of stuff. They want him out. And then he like goes out, but he can still hear them. And then he's again drinking, and he decides to climb up go skiing again for some reason. And he got up that hill, which, by the way, in the beginning, they made it up that long path very fast. I know that I really doubt they had like a ski lift going at that time,
Yeah.
but like they made it up very quickly, especially for how
Yeah, one thing about the
now.
room too, like when he busted in was, he wanted to fight Corey. And
Yeah.
then like we see this moment where she actually pushes him against the wall, Jeff. And I'm like, dude, like she's like a badass. Like, she's working out all the time. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if Jeff or Corey could handle themselves against her. But after he leaves, like she explains to him that we were just friends, and so he
Yeah.
gets the message finally and leaves. But then she has this moment of like she's kind of worried about him, or worried about the situation. And
Mhm.
again, this is where kind of like I have issues with the characters because they kind of flip flop between not giving a fuck about this dude, and but at the same time, like, yeah, we kind of do care about him, but it's like really weird.
Like frenemies.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think he's the punching bag of the group. And they just
pretty
kind of like,
much.
I guess
Yeah,
because of the other girl that like thought it would be a good idea, she's like they're probably like putting up with him because of her kind of
yeah,
thing. And
definitely.
he really, I mean, I don't know his backstory really, but like there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him.
He's
He just
just socially awkward, and so
very,
like I think that was her intention was like, okay, I grew up with this guy. He's a little bit, not very good around people. So maybe if I hook him up with Trina, kind of like let him out like a butterfly, just,
yeah.
get out of his little funk. And Trina, she's kind of a uppity type of chick. And she's obviously, I mean, Jeff, to me, wasn't like an unattractive dude. So like, it
No,
wasn't like this was some nerdy guy. He was pretty built and pretty big, but maybe because of the way he acts and he's a little bit weird, maybe that just was a big turn off for her. Yeah.
yeah. And the other guy was like, I guess the popular one in the group, and
Yeah.
he's like the I kept thinking of Better Off Dead when I watched this movie a little bit, because there's like the competition between the two, and like, John Cusack's not a bad looking guy, and the other guy was like a typical Chad, and it's
Yeah.
like that's how this kind of was, except you know it doesn't end the same way as that movie, obviously, but yeah, he decided to go skiing, and then somebody goes like, "Hey man, it's dark out there. It's not good to go. It's
That
not,
was actually Eddie. That was one of the group, the Eddie guy who's actually dating, I think, a girl named Jeanette. Which, interestingly enough, Lisa Lauren, I found out she actually plays Wednesday Addams in the series in the '60s.
Yeah,
So that was kind of cool.
yeah." She unfortunately died last January, not this January,
Oh,
last
really?
year. Yeah,
Did
I
not know
saw
that.
that Wednesday Adams died. Like, well, the lady that played her, and I was like, oh. And then I saw the woman, and I was like, oh, what's she from? And then
Right.
I was like, oh man, she passed away. That sucks. But yeah, she I was surprised. It's kind of strange when you see that, like, because they're so little, it's the 60s or whatever it was in Adam's family, and here she is in a hot tub nude.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
kind of weird. But
I don't know if, no, I think it's the other girl, maybe Elizabeth Gorsey, who plays Diane. I think she apparently wrote like a children's book or something.
really,
Yeah. It's like, hey, I was in a horror movie, but I wrote this children's book.
uh, oh god, I don't know anybody else in this movie. Well, except for the one that, again, I'm horrible with names. She was from Teen Wolf. She was in Teen Wolf as well.
Oh, really?
That was the one that
Uh,
was friends with him and was trying to hook them up.
oh, okay. So I think that might be it's either Suzanne, who's Sharon Bingham, or Elizabeth Gorsey, who's Diane. I can't remember which.
Yeah, she actually has a picture there on IMDb. I
Oh,
know
okay.
that.
Then that has to be Elizabeth Gorsey, I think.
Yeah, she I remember her from Teen Wolf. Like, that's all I can remember her from. I know she's in like a few other things with like yeah, she's from that, and I always thought she was cute in that, and I saw her in this, and that's another weird thing too. Like, yeah, Elizabeth Gorsey, that's her name.
Okay.
She goes from like Teen Wolf which I don't think was. I think it was out before this movie. And then
I think Teen Wolf was like 85. Are you talking about the one with what's
Michael
his
J.
face?
Fox. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like this movie, and it's like so like low. I don't know. It's weird. Like she goes from Teen Wolf, this like huge movie, and then Ice nobody really ever heard of. Kind of weird how that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it is funny because sometimes you watch these movies and certain like for instance, it's interesting. It's a little bit of a side project here, but
Mhm.
you ever seen the movie Airborne with
Yeah.
the skaters? Okay, so you have the lead actor and actress in that film, and then you have Jack Black and Seth Green who played side characters, and they ended up having bigger careers than the two main actors, which I found very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and I see
I,
that quite often. Like just you have these main actors that really don't end up flourishing, but then somebody who's on the side there goes and has a wonderful career somehow.
yeah. Well, it's funny looking back at other people's careers too, like Jack Black. You said like he was in like a commercial for some fast food when he first started, and then like I don't know, just like random little parts. I was watching Shane and I started watching The Golden Palace the other day, and he actually comes in and delivers like food or something. And it's like, holy crap, that's like little Jack Black. you know,
Yeah,
but it's interesting to see them then and then know them now. It's like, wow, that guy like
yeah,
was poor then, and now he's like uber
mega
rich.
rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So anyway, Jeff, as you said, he's left the building and he's upset, of course, and so he's gonna just. I guess his idea was to practice skiing so he can beat Corey another time. I don't know, but
Yeah.
he starts going down and he ends up kind of going over this like mini cliff and he hits like this rock and then he's pretty busted up and I guess just the impact alone he ends up dying.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, people assumed that he had done this as a suicide attempt, which I'm not really convinced of personally. He just happened to be drunk and wrecked.
That's how I take it.
Yeah, but everyone else in this group years later, of course, we fast forward 5 years and everyone's a bit older now. They have careers and the remembering of this is more of just like, oh well, we knew Jeff and he had an accident or it was suicide or some crazy ass shit. Accident is more like it, but you never get like a clear story on where they really stand on the position of that. But
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, it's 4 years later, and I didn't know he died until because
well,
he
yeah,
kind of like rolls
he
over. He's
groaned.
like,
It was like a
oh,
groan. Yeah,
yeah. I thought, oh, okay, he's gonna like be hurt for and now whatever. But it did, yeah, whatever.
which is interesting because I mean, obviously they play around with the idea like later in the film where is Jeff really alive? Like they try to play on that idea that he's not really dead,
Hmm.
which is okay. But yeah, there seems to be a clear indication that he did die, but you know,
But that's what everybody thinks.
right.
That's the whole thing of this. Who done it in the ski mask?
So anyway, 5 years later, we find out that Corey and Trina have gotten married. They're getting ready to go to this new resort called Snow Peak or Snow Peak.
Yeah, Snow Peak, because they made like a stupid little come take a peek at Snow Peak in the
Yeah.
advertisement. It's like, wow.
So they got invited by some realtor who's trying to sell condos or whatever up there and
Timeshares and
cabin
stuff.
timeshare. Yeah. So they invite them, and of course they've invited their other friends, that they were part of that group back then to meet them up there. So they're traveling up there. Actually, traveling up there with Jeanette, who talks about her relationship problems with Eddie right now, where they're not really getting along per se, but he's supposed to come up there.
Yeah.
So they arrive, and I forget who was already there. I think it was the
Carl? Is that his name?
yeah. It's either the guy that was is Carl the one that was like the doctor or whatever.
No.
No, okay.
No, that Carl is that Ron Cooley. He's the one who was like a druggie.
Okay, yeah, he's the really like prankster dude. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably John, I think.
Yeah, it's tough because if we're
I
looking
think
on
John and
IMDb, there's
Diane
no.
were a couple, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because like only a couple of them have pictures on IMDb. So
yeah, I'm just trying. I think that's pretty much it, though, because I think John and Diane were a couple, Eddie and Jeanette were a couple, Corey and Trina, and
yeah,
then of course Carl was like the odd man out of the group.
yeah,
So yeah, John is like your doctor, and I think Diane, they're already there. Like they're kind of surprising their friends, and we're here, get to see you, yada yada yada. And of course, during some of this, Jeanette's like, yeah, Eddie's supposed to come up, but he's not here yet. Which then leads us to a scene where Eddie's driving there and he's by himself, and somehow,
that scene made me laugh. Like just like
yeah,
he drove
it
down.
reminds me a lot of what was it? Was it one of the Austin Powers or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, the first one.
Or the ice track, the slow mo.
Stop! Like
Yeah,
move.
stop. And it was like
And
just
he's like so
barely
far
anything.
away.
Yeah. So Eddie ends up hitting a snowbank on his way up to the cabins, and then gets out, just checking his car, getting in the trunk, trying to see what he can do to dislodge it. And then we see this like plow tractor in the background.
Yeah.
And I love this is actually what I love is the killer's point of view is like these shark teeth looking fucking goggles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
And so it's kind of yellow a little bit on the top, but then it's clear in the middle where you can see who he's looking for. And so he's starting the tractor. And so he's got this blue snowsuit on, much like what Jeff had when he died. So
Yep.
it's like, oh, is Jeff around? Is he the killer? And as you said, the tractor starts moving towards Eddie, and Eddie's like, no. And then he just falls and slips, and he can't get away any faster. And of course, he gets squished.
Yeah, he does.
So our first kill has made it into the movie now.
Yeah.
Eddie
Finally.
is no more. Eddie does not live.
Eddie had no point in this movie. Really.
Oh.
Like he didn't do much.
But the funny thing is that earlier Eddie was the one that was kind of like, hey Jeff, come sit with us, because he's dating the girl that knows him from childhood. So, and he's also the one that's like, dude, it's getting ready to blizzard outside, you shouldn't be going skiing right now. So he's one of the few guys that kind of like at least took it upon himself to reach out to Jeff and Sermon. He's like, let's come back, have some drinks, man, let's go.
And then
so he was trying,
and then immediately made fun of him.
Yeah,
it's like,
of course, then he dies first. So
yeah, well, maybe that's why.
Maybe, yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I don't want to look too far into that. I think that it was just coincidence. I think it was funny how like he's stuck in the bank. It's like that car was so small, he could have pushed it out. Like
anything.
No, bro. Like, and that's what made me laugh because it's like the road looks exactly like roads plowed around here in a weird time. And then, like, I'm used to driving on that kind of stuff. If I don't have to, I won't. But like the way he hit that bank, and I'm like, you can get out of that. Stop being a wimp.
Yeah, so the funny thing is like the car wasn't even, it's not like he leaped over into a fucking field of snow. It's like he was just kind of like halfway in. It's like,
yeah,
dude, come on, man. Come on.
That was a funny moment because,
and these guys supposedly ski for a living. Come on now.
Yeah. Just can't
so
drive,
yeah, he's gone now, and we have made it back to the cabin, and by this time they also find out that Carl's there. He's been there a little while. Surprises Jeanette, and there's a weird dynamic there too, like throughout the entire film with those two.
Because in the beginning, he's kind of like the jokester of the group, like the funny guy. In the beginning, they do seem like a fun group, though. Like they seem like besides being a jerk to Jeff, right? Jeff, like they seem like okay. They seem like a fun time, especially him. And then later, 4 years later, he's just kind of weird and creepy and.
Yeah,
Like, what's up with this dude? Especially after like the intros, and he like makes they make that face like, here we go, kind of thing. It's like, what's on his mind?
Wonders if he's just jealous of the progress his friends have made. Maybe that's part of it. Like everyone moved on to have, careers and stuff, and he was kind of left behind in a sense that he doesn't have anybody. So
True.
maybe that's why whenever Eddie doesn't end up showing up, he's kind of like trying to latch on to Jeanette in some ways to try to build something for himself. I don't know. But he also has a gun that he has for maybe suicidal thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah. And a big drug problem.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Like,
really likes his drugs.
yeah. I mean, he just dumped that shit out on a table. My God. I don't know. That's what makes
So,
you think. It's like, what's his intentions of being up there? Like, I know he
right.
got the invite, but like, I don't know. Like you said, he's probably jealous of everybody, and like maybe I thought maybe he was gonna like be part of everything, but
Hmm.
you know. But he was an asshole. Like I didn't like him at all. Unpredictable.
Yeah. And, but at the same time, like he took a lot of shit too when stuff started happening. Everyone's like, "Are you playing these jokes, man? Is this you?" It's like, dude, it ain't fucking me. I'm too
Well,
busy snorting coke, man. I don't got time for jokes.
yeah. Well, I mean,
So,
he would be the prime person to go to for this because he
sure,
was always a jokester.
but it's
But
like no one believes it when he says it's not him. They're just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, man. It's you and Eddie. You guys are fucking around with everybody."
yeah,
Because Eddie not being there adds to the mysteriousness of it all.
yeah, they don't know Eddie
Which,
is
yeah,
a
we're gonna
red
get to that.
stain in the snow.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, plus I should have met like, well, why didn't anybody come upon the body on the way up there? He turned off on the a closed road.
yeah.
So he's kind of like out there and it's a closed road. Nobody's going out there. So who knows when his body will be found. So that's another reason.
Well, somehow he's able to make phone calls though and say he's with Jeff. I don't know how that happened, but
I don't know.
we'll get to that soon enough.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone's at the lodge now, and a couple of the guys, Corey, and I think one of the other guys went. Maybe John went skiing. They tend to do the slopes, and the girls are cooking dinner. Jeanette's still obsessed with Eddie, like why he's not there. The other people arrive, so they're kind of showing them where they're going to be staying in the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get the call from Alex, who is the realtor, who's trying to sell these lots and give them the experience by giving them like a free weekend, whatever, to ski the slopes and everything. And we do see Alex at one point in his office. There's a scene where he calls it a premonition, but it's more like a flashback to when Jeff died. He's actually at the top of the cliff looking down.
Yeah.
And we don't even know if, like, okay, is he involved in the death or is he, because I automatically think, okay, well, he's involved in this in some way. He's got to be involved. But they play a good job of keeping it, just open to whatever's going on. We don't really know yet. So
I thought he was like help and he saw him off the,
yeah.
fall off the thing and then like I don't know what they call them. Like
Oh, EMTs or something.
yeah, something like that. I thought he was like kind of one of them and he saw him fall down. That's what I thought he was.
Yeah, which would lead to the idea that, well, maybe Jeff's not dead. Maybe he
Yeah.
was able to rescue him, because that's
Right.
another thing. They don't play on that scene too long, so you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But he calls the lodge and he's talking with Jeanette at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to come by and say hello to everybody." And they're like, "Yeah, well, tell him to come by at 8:30 when dinner's here." And that's, of course, when Jeanette's like, "Well, maybe it's good that Eddie's not here."
Yeah.
Without even seeing this guy, she's like, "Yeah, maybe it's a good idea."
Jeanette's horny.
Yeah, she moves on very fast.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember the next scenes here because
Well, it's kind of like a mess. It's kind of a mess of a movie in a way. There's a lot
the
going
editing is a
on.
little bit off on some
Yeah.
scenes, but I know there's a scene where Carl is coming out of the bathroom and he's sitting on his bed, and that's when John comes in. John finds actually a piece of paper in his drawer
Mm-hmm.
that's about the death of Jeff, and he comes to confront Carl. He's like, "Hey man, did you do this?" And Carl's like, "No, I don't know anything about this. Have you shown the others this?" And they're like, "No." And it's like, probably not a good idea, because
Yeah.
Diane, who is John's lady, I'm not sure if they're married, and I don't think they are yet. because they keep
No, that she said
referencing-
my boyfriend.
yeah. So he's like, Diane took a lot of shit because the mother of Jeff was blaming everybody for his death, for why he died and all that. So that's probably a reason why they think it was a suicide of sorts, but it was more of an accident, really.
Actually, I think those two were married, and I think it's Eddie and what's her name?
Jeanette. Well, Jeanette and Eddie are definitely boyfriend and girlfriend. I
Yeah.
can't remember which one was saying that they were getting pressure to get married because of Trina and
That
Corey.
was Diane and it.
Okay.
Or I mean
so
John and. Oh wait, you're right. Yeah, she did say that. So I guess they weren't married. Never mind.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
seem like they are though.
Right. I mean, they're definitely doing better than Eddie and Jeanette for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a doctor and everything, that John.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't jump to the clues because she gets kind of pissed that his work overtakes her life a little bit, but he's a doctor. So,
Yeah.
which, I couldn't understand. Like, you're on this weekend vacation, but they call you back to the office because of our emergency C-section. I'm like, they don't have any other doctors there? Like,
Yeah,
what's
nobody
going
else
on?
could do that.
Right.
Let alone it's supposedly snowing bad and whatever.
Right. Yeah. Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Circumstance, anyway.
Yeah.
Probably could have done anything except for that. Like, you can find another reason for that.
Yeah.
Like my cat's dying.
brain
Okay, I'm
transplant.
coming back. My cat's dying. That's important. Got to
There
come
you
back.
go. Yeah. Gotta
Yep.
get the kitty.
Yep. Let's see. Okay,
So
so
he
Go
finds
ahead.
that note and he's like talking to him about it, and then he's like, I also have a gun, just so you know. And then that's where it's like, what's up with this dude? What was he thinking? Like, did he? I think what you said, like he probably had like unalive thoughts, and he just wanted to like go up there the weekend, get plastered and whatever out of his mind with all of his old friends and have one out. That was it, I think. But he's so
He was on like a whole different planet than everyone else, really, in this one.
yeah.
But Alex ends up showing up, and sharp-looking dude.
Yeah.
Just kind of chit-chatting with them, and of course Jeanette takes an immediate liking to him.
Mm-hmm.
They start talking and conversing. He wants to go back because it's time to move on and do something else, but Jeanette's like, well, just stay a while, have a brandy, warm yourself up, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
The usual, like, I'm going to seduce you like this. So they're talking, and of course they start making out and shit, so they're getting their groove on a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then of course the phone rings, and a guy answers it, tells Jeanette it's for you, and I think it's Eddie.
Yeah.
She gets up there, she answers, she says, if you think this is a joke, Eddie, it's not funny. She hangs up and tells everyone, like, yeah, it sounds like Eddie. And he says, I'm with Jeff now. So I don't know if that was like, maybe the only thing I can interpret from this is that the killer took it upon themselves to record Eddie dying, and then, or tried to fake his accent in some way and made a recording prior to that to call. But like, it's pretty high tech for that time period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So I don't know how that was pulled off, because once you understand by the end of the movie what their killer is or who it is, it makes more sense. But like, you don't really understand here, like, how they fucking did it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I thought he was just imitating him.
That's the only thing I can imagine. But again, certain things have to happen for that person to be on the other line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't understand. It's like, okay, and it comes back to what you said though, like, was the killer working with somebody else, like Eddie or Carl? Is there somebody else at play here?
Yeah.
Because that would make kind of sense. Okay, maybe there is another person involved in this whole, charade going on.
Yeah.
So after the call, it gets a little bit tense. Everybody's uptight, and of course, this is where Alex has explained that. Well, yeah, we sent out invitations to everybody, including Jeff, and Jeff sent in a reply that he was coming, and they were, of course, like, he can't, he's dead.
Yeah. Like, you sent an invitation to a dead man.
Right. Craziest fucking answer to anything. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
They got so mad at that.
Right.
But the
It's
guy,
like, dude, it's not his fault. He doesn't know who's dead or alive. He's like,
right, right, you idiot.
right.
Right. Yeah, they got that's in the party, like got all screwed up, and it was over basically.
Yeah,
And he's
Alex
like,
couldn't get his dick wet. Couldn't happen
I'll
now.
talk to him. Yeah, I'll talk to
It's a
my
mood killer.
secretary. Oh my god, yeah, the dead killed it.
Yeah.
But like,
So, yeah, so Alex is leaving because it's just getting kind of weird, and he's like, he's trying to he wants to go sort it out. Still is kissing Jeanette goodbye, so they still have like the little bit of fire.
oh yeah,
And he leaves, and then of course John, the doctor, gets a call about the whole got to go back. And so now it's like, okay,
yeah,
he's trying to tell his lady Diane we got to go. She doesn't really want to leave because it's like they really tried to make plans to come out and get away from it all. And
yeah,
but he's all about work, and so he's planning on going back. So he's going out to warm up the car. Now, granted, the lodge is here, and you gotta go down a little snowbank to the main road where the vehicles are, just so people know that you can't really necessarily hear or see the cars in the dark. So
yeah.
he's down there warming it up, and of course, the atypical look behind the seat. Someone comes up and takes one of those little pokers and right through his neck.
Yeah, the other ski thing,
Mm-hmm.
holes,
The pole, yeah.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that scene.
Yeah.
It took a while to get to that scene after the first, after Eddie
Eddie's
though.
death. Yeah.
It's like it was like I don't know if I say it's a slow burn, but it's like there's a lot of like child, I almost said child development, character development that they're trying to do, but it's like let's get to the deaths. Let's go.
Why I do appreciate that about this film. Like, my rating might not totally reflect it, but I did appreciate they attempted to make a solid film out of this. Like they did try.
Yeah, they
Um,
tried.
you obviously you see some horror, they don't even worry about character development. They do exactly what you just said. They'll just get into it like, oh, you're dead. 5 minutes in, that's it, and
Yeah.
keep going. This one they at least tried to make somewhat of a coherent story. In fact, I was like, I didn't think any of our main characters were sympathetic. Like I did not like any of them. They were all
No,
trash to me. They were all trash. I felt bad for Jeff. Like of all the people, I felt bad for Jeff.
I did too.
Uh, and so like I like that fact that like they kind of give you that vibe. Like, okay, yeah, you don't have to feel sorry for these people being hunted down and killed because they really treated this guy badly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so John gets the poker through the neck, and then Diane is coming out, and she gets in the car and sees this and screams, and then of course we have the guy in the suit jumping on the car and scaring her back out of it.
Mhm.
And this is almost like another of the ice truck thing where you just kind of slowly getting to the point where he grabs the icicle. And she's busy screaming, and somehow this dude is superhuman because he picked her up off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, he
And
just like lifted her up.
yeah, and it just stabs her right in the fucking face with it. And
You
that's
don't
all.
see that though at first. You just see like an off-screen kill, which I was like, "Oh, come on." But
Right.
yeah, I think it made up for it later. Like I didn't
Yeah.
see it happen, but you see the after effects later on, which was actually kind of cool looking. I always like that in a movie. I don't want to like get out too far ahead. Like, well, I don't want to, but like when movies show like all the kills that happen in the movie and then like they just start finding them, and I kind of like that. Like it's like, but at the same, it's like funny in a house when it happens. Like, how did a killer have time to move all these bodies and nobody heard anything? But like with this just kind of left them where they are, and like you said, it's dark out there. It's supposed to be snowing, but it wasn't. But whatever.
Yeah, there was
You
no blizzard going on.
you could let you could like just focus on the moment and not worry about that, I guess. But like, yeah, they can't really see what's going on. It's probably windy up there. They can't hear anything. So all this stuff going on outside, her screaming and that, nothing. Didn't like when he did that though. Wasn't there like a blood on the snow in the front of the garage, but you can't see them. You just see snow turn red or was that just me that I like a red light or something? I don't know. But I thought, okay, she's dead.
No, I think it was blood. I think it was
Yeah,
blood.
but you don't see the impact.
Right. Which makes me wonder, like, because they use a scene similar in Die Hard 2, where McClane stabs a dude with the icicle. So I wonder if he stole it from Ice.
Damn it, they did. And that icicle he pulled off was huge. And it was a
yeah, it
real
was.
one. It was a real
Surprised
one.
that surprised it didn't like go right all the way through her head. Of course, you never see it, but
Yeah.
uh,
But I thought that was, I was thinking that too. There's just little things I think of during a movie. Is like he pulled off an actual icicle on there. Imagine if like that broke in half or didn't break right. It's like, oh, what if like no other icicles were good enough? Now he has to like, what do they do? Just like something
yeah, the
small. Like
kicker
you're
would have
lucky
been
that
if
broke off.
the best thing about that scene I thought about just now is that if they had actually showed it, right? And then him pulling it out and kind of going, kind of like the guy from Frosty the Snowman, or what was it, Rudolph the Reindeer, the axe picker dude, is like licking the ice cubes all the time.
Oh yeah.
That would have been funny. I would
Yeah,
have enjoyed that.
he was
But yeah,
stabbed
it took
there.
them a while just to like. She was just screaming, like nobody could hear this. I mean, there's no noise outside. How you not hear her, I don't know, but
Yeah.
she's screaming, and he's like slowly bringing it, and then you never see it until later.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've lost now John and Diane, and Eddie's been gone a while, so the
Should have
body
called
count
him
is starting
Jack.
to rise. Jack, yeah,
We lost
Jack
Jack and
Frost
Diane.
before Jack and Frost.
Jack Frost.
Uh,
The doctor's
so
going to
then
be
we keep
late.
like a quick scene. We see this guy in the blue suit again, or a girl, could be a girl, going through the snow with some bear
Honestly,
traps.
it kind of does have a female body at times.
Mhm,
I think.
mhm,
I think people do that in the movie too, just to throw you off.
mhm.
They definitely do that because, like, you don't want to. If it's the actual killer is there the whole time in the body, like it's like you can figure out who it is. But when
Yep.
the body keeps changing, it's like, well, who the hell is it? That I like that kind of stuff.
Or if there's more than one killer, there's
Or if there's
always
more
that.
than one.
But yeah,
True.
so we see this figure kind of trudging up the snow a little bit outside the lodge, and he's got these bear traps. So we already know what's going to be happening with this shit. Like we know somebody's going to get fucked up bad time and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then we get to a quick scene where, again, this is where Carl's sitting down having a drink, and Jeanette's kind of strolling by, and he starts doing his flirtatious. So he's like, I wish I can get you all hot and bothered again, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Bring her blood back boiling or something. So apparently they have history somewhere. It's just never really explained.
Yeah.
So then he starts talking about like, oh yeah, you're really into that dude, and he was really into you, and she kind of takes that as a compliment. As the first time he's not really like busting on her about something. So
Yeah.
he grabs her hand, and next thing you know, he starts to maul her and kiss her, and
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. He's trying to like at one point he's like talking like a vampire, so he starts biting on her neck, and I don't know if he was just trying to be weirdly flirtatious or if he was actually just trying to like get it on with her. Like I don't know what the fuck this dude.
I don't know
doing.
what that man was thinking.
He was all over the place, and
He
so
should have just played the compliment angle, talked to her a
right,
little. He probably could
yeah,
have got to at least make out, maybe more,
yeah,
because she was horny already. They
yeah.
have a history, but no, he goes right for the, like,
Dude, he could have been like letting his whole heart out and say, I really wish you and I could have been something because I think you're a great person. And I didn't want to get in the way with you and Eddie. And he could have, the lines were there, dude.
He had it was his in.
Yeah. She was already saying, oh, well, that's a nice compliment,
Yeah. She was like not repulsed by him for once.
That dude can fuck up a wet dream, as they say.
Yeah.
So and it's really like, weird too.
Carl.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, and this comes back to the editing, is immediately we get thrown to a scene where Jeanette gets out of bed naked and throws on like this white little negligee robe or something. So she's moseying her way out to the jacuzzi outside.
Yeah,
and that's a great idea. And that would have been a moment Carl going to be like, "Can I join you?"
Yeah, yeah.
instead of mauling her in the living room. You could have did that. Anyway,
still
but that
went
also
out
gives
there.
the implication, like, well, she's naked. So did they actually have sex? But apparently not, because he was still in the living room, passed out by the time he goes outside.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Jeanette. She's getting nude and showing the glory as she gets in the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Mr. Sneaky Pants with the moon boots,
Yep.
comes up, grabs like a radio that's plugged into the wall, the atypical, I'm going to electrocute your ass. Throws it in the hot tub, and she's done.
Yeah.
That's it. Goodbye, Jeanette.
Yeah.
Hot tub.
It's kind of a typical generic kill, but I think later on when you see the body, it's kind of, no pun intended, cool.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I like how they left her there and it was outside and she was getting frozen, iced.
Right.
I thought that was
So
actually a
now
cool effect.
we come back to Carl, and I don't remember what it was that persuaded him to go outside initially, because he's the one that's going to go toward. I think he saw the person and thought it was somebody else.
I don't remember what made him go outside, but it's something like that.
Well, anyway, Carl ends up going outside and he sees somebody,
And he
and I
brings
think
his
he might
gun.
think it's one of his friends. And he starts walking up there and sure enough steps into a bear trap. And then he goes a step again, steps in the other bear trap.
Yeah.
Now here again, there's no noise. There's no blizzard, no nothing. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And his gun goes off and yet no one hears it.
No. Nope.
And so he's done. He's toast. But then, of course, after the gun fires, Corey does wake up. He and Trina are sleeping. He wakes up, but he's not alert to the noise. He's just getting up for whatever fucking reason. So he strolls down to the kitchen. Now, earlier we had a scene where there's a nice little pie and a big old butcher knife sitting there, which, was next to a girl. So we're like, is she a killer? What are we doing? So he sees a piece of pie. I thought maybe it might be laced with something at first.
So did I. I thought it was going to be like razor blades or something. Especially, did you hear how he was chewing that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? It sounds like.
Yeah, I thought there was like strychnine or some shit in there, and he'd start like,
That's what I was expecting. Yeah.
Because it's just sitting out. It's not even in the fridge. It's just out. It's just one slice. It's just one slice, just sitting there.
He was hungover, I guess.
Yeah, so he starts eating it, and then of course someone stabs him with that butcher knife right here. Now, the guy, even no matter who you are, if you're the revenge, if this is your revenge film, you've killed everybody else like spectacularly with no problems. This guy, you've chosen to fucking miss the mark, right in the fucking face or throat, anything. This is the guy you should hate the most,
absolutely,
of anybody in this film. And he gets him right here. So then he falls down. He's moaning and groaning. And then Trina wakes up. And now it's daylight. Like somehow he's still on the floor down there. And Trina wakes up. She goes down and sees him and decides to try to get help in her nice little underwear out in the middle of cold weather. This is where she starts discovering bodies. She sees Jeanette in the hot tub, which is kind of a cool effect because she's all like there and she's frozen. Like it's really nice. I like that.
It's a cool scene.
Then she's making her way up to where Carl was, and I don't even know where that was going, but she finds him, and he's like frozen, and he's got the gun in his hand.
Yeah.
So now she's like, well, I'm gonna pry the gun from his hand, take it with me.
I think they did a good job with the frozen effects. They actually
they did.
Frozen.
It came out really nice. It just doesn't go with their tagline that he chills them first and then kills them. That it's actually reversed.
Yeah, that's true. He kills them, then they chill.
Yeah,
chill.
Take a chill pill.
Right.
The killer needed those kind of lines in this film.
Oh, I'm glad he didn't say anything. I'm glad the killer didn't talk. That would have been terrible. Like especially if they had like an accent, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, like
stick around,
cool out,
yeah,
cool out.
Now you're going back to Batman and Robin.
Yeah, no,
Mr.
Everybody,
Freeze.
Chill.
Yeah. That would have been great.
Oh, God.
But you would need like a voice effector, so we didn't know who it was.
And then we would have said, "Oh, they're stealing." Scream stole it from them. Of course,
Scream stole it,
they've done
then
that
Batman.
before. Didn't the guy in New Year's Evil have like a voice thing on the phone or
I don't
something?
know, but certainly the New York Ripper was doing the whole
Oh,
duck thing,
oh my
So
God, that was so weird when I first saw that.
yes, yeah, that movie is bizarre. I haven't watched it since, but
Yeah,
certainly up there in the weirdness of movies.
yeah,
And that's a very graphic movie, which I can appreciate on some level.
sure.
Uh, so she's back in the lodge. She's now back with Corey on the floor. He's really struggling at points. Sometimes he can move, sometimes he can't.
Yeah,
I thought he was dead for sure, but he's not.
yeah. I thought he bled out or something.
Yeah, but then she calls Alex, who's at his pad. He wakes up and he's picking up the phone. She's like, "Yeah, I need help. They're all dead." It's like, okay, I'll call the cops and I'll come over.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes there or he's working his way there. And then, of course, she is a little bit distraught. So she's kind of like passed out in the bathroom a little bit or something, or just disoriented from what's going on. But we see the boots come back in. I wish he would have
Yeah.
moonwalked. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, because there's like a little bit of snow in the house, so
That's
he's
what's
there.
missing. I disagree with you. I think this killer needed some pizzazz with his killing.
Pizzazz. You wanted him to
Yeah,
do a
he
moonwalk.
needs to get like, do some moon dancing, moon breaking.
Well, it was the '80s. Too bad he wasn't wearing one of those whatever they're called, where you touch them and you see your handprint.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
fix your webcam. You're very fuzzy. What the hell? There you go. It was a
It's
ghost.
I guess I need more fucking light. See, it's funny because my picture looks normal to you, right?
Yeah.
But yet on the side back here, it's like blinking. Like there's no blinking lights in the room, but it's
Really?
flashing. Like it's really. But I think it's because my camera. If I put the ring light too high or whatever, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
So I keep it to where I can at least have a little bit of light. But I think the camera's like, dude, you need more light or something. But I like to be in the dark a little bit.
Yeah. I know. I
Mysterious.
haven't noticed that, to be honest. So.
Yeah, it's never showed up on any of my videos, but I can see it on my own camera. Like it's really ridiculous. It's kind of distracting.
Yeah,
I'm like,
get
do I
it.
have ghosts? Is there ghosts in here? What's going on, man? All right, so Mr. Moonboots comes back in, and he's now making his way up to her. She starts running away and closes the door, and then all of a sudden, we hear Alex's voice, like, "Hey, where are you? I need to help you." I'm like,
I'm here. The cops are on their
I know
way.
what this is. This is a ploy. Don't believe it. And eventually, she does make her way back out of this room. They start struggling. She's actually under the bed, and she tries to like stab him in the shin with something. Like I don't know if it's like scissors or something. It does stick, but it doesn't even phase him. He picks up the bed, like superpowers. Yeah. He's like, yeah, and now he's like, he starts like filling her up and shit. Like he's on top of her, and he's like really getting his groove on. Like I'm like, dude, I thought you just wanted to kill her, but you really have a fixation with this chick.
Yep.
And she pulls off the hat and the goggles. And if you're somebody that's not really, if you're thinking it's Jeff, it's not Jeff. Jeff's dead. Sorry, he is dead. It's not Eddie. He's dead too. And it's not anybody in the group, but it's Alex, our guy.
Yep.
The reveal is there.
Yep.
And so we have a flashback to that moment where Jeff's in the bar or the cafe, and we think he's talking to himself the entire time, but no. Sitting across from us, a young Alex, who is another skier, a friend of his from childhood, who somehow they don't know. He doesn't know anybody in the group. He just knows Jeff.
Yeah, I think it's probably because he was a rich kid. He probably didn't really hang out with them. He just probably knows Jeff from the ski lodge and that. But like, yeah, when he's talking, you think he's talking to himself because he's going on and on. He goes, "Thanks for listening," and like you don't see anybody. Nope. It's like, man, this guy's nuts, and that's when he goes off up to the hill. It's like this guy's totally fucking drunk. Yeah, and that's what you said. It shows the reveal. He's actually talking to him
And then it flashes back again. It comes back to where it was actually Alex that discovered Jeff hurt. Like he had gone after Jeff to try to stop him from doing anything crazy, like skiing drunk. So it's probably one of those things where he just got there too late.
Yeah.
But the thing that is weird about this situation is that in his attempt to help Jeff, he hurt his leg. He hurt his own leg somehow.
Yeah.
Because he was going to be like a professional skier too. He was going to try to do this for a living, and this is something that his dad like wanted him to be, but when he got hurt, he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So his dad kind of like became, just an asshole. Like, even though he's successful at being a realtor, it's like his dad never gave him any kind of approval after that.
Yeah.
So now there's this grudge, which I didn't really like this angle of the revenge factor because I thought it would have been better if he's just like friends with Jeff and says, I'm just going to help Jeff out. But it became very weird for even Alex because, again, he's on top of her and he's like filling her up and he's like, I wanted you last because I thought Jeff would like this. And, he shows he has like a wooden leg. I guess that they amputated his other leg.
Two of them. They're both amputated.
Oh, were they both? I didn't know that.
Which is, we're going back to that part. How did he just fall off that hill? He was on a snowmobile.
Yeah.
He actually it wasn't on skis. He was on a snowmobile. And then he just, all of a sudden, they show him, like when he's talking about it, he falls off and busts his legs. And that's where you said he can't ski anymore. But it's like, how did he fall? Did he slip? Then he said they made fun of him for it and everything. Who's making?
Yeah, that was something because you never seen
fun of him.
It might have been other people that not attached, and he just kind of latched on to what happened with Jeff. Maybe I don't know, or maybe in a backstory he already took care of these other people in a similar way, and he just never got caught.
True.
We don't have a whole lot of information on that part of it, but
what if they made a prequel and he had like a group of other people that came up and then took them out and then like cleaned everything up and then invited these ones up.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little thing.
Yeah,
probably could do a good job with it. A nice budget too.
Yeah,
have some of these guys as cameos in it.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, he's gonna try to rape her and kill her. I guess that's his plan here. And then I think at this point Corey manages to crawl up the steps, and how he got the gun I can't remember, but he shoots Alex and it's almost the same spot, I think.
Yeah.
And then Alex kind of like falls back and one of his legs gets caught on rope, to which finally it just dislodges from his body and he falls to he's like on the second or third floor of his body. Now there's snow down there, so I mean there's a little bit of cushion. Now you could still die, but he looked like he just hit cement.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like for a place that has like a lot of snow like that, I don't know if he'd really die from that. But we go to 5 years forward again.
Yeah.
And we now see Corey and Trina again kissing in probably their house or near their house. They have a couple kids now.
Yeah.
So they really got to work after this. Like those kids had to be like 5 or 6 by the time we see them in this movie. So
well,
they had
I was thinking that like, wow, they have 2 kids already. It's like, well, 5 years. The first kid could be like 4 or 5, and the other kid could be like 3. You know, it's possible. But like, yeah, they were like not wasting any time of making a family. And life is sweet, and the sun is out, and they're making a snowman, and everything is perfect now because all their friends are dead and they could be alone.
Right. Like it's like, ooh, we moved on pretty easily.
Yeah.
And so they're building the snowman, and there's like one eye missing. So Trina's picking up this like piece of coal or a pen. I think it's like a pen of sorts. And she puts it in there, and then all of a sudden the eye from where she's putting the pen starts bleeding. Cool effect, by the way.
Yeah.
And then we get the ever-ending jump scare at the end, where someone bursts out of the snowman in a blue ski suit, which could be Alex again, or it could be somebody else.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Or whoever they were burying underneath all that snow.
Or if you're like me and you think it's just like a dream sequence, it could be that.
Yeah.
But they never go past it. Like we just have the guy jumping out and that's it. Now, some people I've seen online say that's one of the best endings to a horror movie ever. I think it's just because it came out of a snowman, maybe, but
It's cool. It's cool. It was expected, but
yeah, you expected something.
I take it was a dream. Because
That's what I thought.
how could there be somebody in there and they're making a snowman? Like that just makes no sense.
But I would think though, if it's a dream, that she would have like woken up somewhere, like in a psychotic, a psychiatric hospital or something.
Maybe they were going to make a sequel and they left it open like that because that's definitely like you said. It's okay. It's okay. You're fine. And then maybe you find out the husband, like, maybe he actually died from the wound or something,
Right?
or
Yeah.
she's alone.
Yeah.
No kids, no snowman, bleeding eyes, nothing.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's time to make an Iced 2.
Iced 2.
I think so. Somebody out there needs to make an Iced 2, especially with nowadays with the budget. Make it a Montage Mountain in Pennsylvania. Do it. Make it better than Shredder. Did you ever see the movie Shredder?
I think so.
The skiing movie. I think that one's a little better than this, but it does have its flaws as well. But yeah, I like skiing movies.
All right, rating time.
Oh boy,
where are you going with this?
I don't know, man. Like talking about, like you always say, like it's better to talk about it. It brings more things to light and gives you a different perspective. So obviously my score is going to be a little higher than it was, but I don't even know what it was because watching the movie and getting done with it, you're like, that was a mess, like of a movie. Besides that, it was tough to see because it's kind of dark at times. And I watched, I'm sure you did too on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, so it's hard because of it was
it's
like
a VHS quality.
Error.
Yeah. But it doesn't like, what's going on. You see, but sometimes it is tough to see faces. But
no, the story is very coherent. I like the story a lot.
It's
like
a
I
good
said,
idea.
they attempted to have some character depth. I mean, the editing was a problem, but we don't know what the budget was, and it couldn't be very high. But
No,
they did attempt to make at least a decent horror flick.
Yeah, which I give them that. I guess I would say I'm gonna say like a 3.5
out of 5.
We're going out of 5.
No, I go out of 10. Is it 3.5 out of 10?
Yeah, 3.5 out of 10.
Okay, well, you way lower than me. I'm gonna get 6 out of 10. It's enjoyable enough. These are, whenever I get below like an 8, these are films that I probably won't revisit again, but I won't totally throw them in the trash bin. Like maybe 10 years from now, if this shows up on Blu-ray, I might be like, you know what? Maybe I'll get that because maybe they've done some funny things or cool things with it now. Maybe I'll check it out again.
Yeah.
Or if it ends up on Tubi with a better quality, maybe I'll go back and watch it because that happens occasionally. Like, we talked about Black Christmas last week, and it's like I don't really love that film, but I'll visit it every once in a while because like I do like it enough. Like I'll just go back to it for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah, so, I think I would definitely watch this again if it was on Blu-ray. Because I would love to see this cleaned up a little bit,
Yeah.
Well, I don't think cleaned up it would ruin who the killer is or anything. I don't think that would give anything away because you don't really see the face or anything. Or
you see the eyes, but you can't really determine anything by the eyes.
No,
and it's only one scene that you see that, and that's when Eddie dies.
I before you get, you did already, but like, how he said like, oh yeah, superhuman strength, and he lifted her up. And it's like, well, being that he lost his legs, he's probably really been pumping his arms up. So it's possible that he did lift her up like that. Like, I mean, his legs are, if you think about it, they're planted. They're not going weak or anything.
Yeah, but the thing about these kind of things is like, okay, so he has pretty good strength, but then like when he's trying to, I mean, he does have Trina pinned down pretty easily, but I don't know. Like sometimes it seems like it doesn't always work. Like sometimes you don't really see the strength. Like sometimes he's kind of like he can get pushed around a little bit too easily. But
yeah,
but it's a horror film, so you got to kind of suspend belief a little bit.
But
I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was decent enough on that level.
Yeah, You got to include the adrenaline that's going through everybody too. So, especially, I don't know, do women have more adrenaline than men? Because it seems like
I
it.
don't know, but that scene where Jeff was trying to pick a fight with Corey in the bedroom, like she threw him up the wall. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And Jeff was kind of like, yeah, I don't want to fight you. I want to fight him.
Yeah. I think that's, I mean, obviously she was the last one that he wanted to get because it was all her, it wasn't really her fault. She just didn't express how she was her feelings
Yeah, I
were.
think she waited. I think she was kind of like leading him on a little bit, whether
Yeah.
to be nice or whatever. But it wasn't until he got into the room that she's like, we're just friends.
Yeah.
But you could have saved him a lot of fucking heartache by just telling him that from a long time ago.
Yeah, like the
Because
drive
we really
up.
don't like it isn't even really revealed until Diane later says, I was trying to just hook him up with Trina because I thought he needed some help in the social area.
Right.
But like at first we're thinking, is he just a stalker obsessed with her for no reason? Like, but there was a reason there that we just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. She could have told him on the way up there on the drive. I mean, yeah, the guy was a jerk for flirting with her.
And that's the other thing that kind of bothers me because there is a scene, like again, when we talk about Corey, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene where he and John are skiing and they fall down. They're just kind of goofing off. And at that point, I think John mentions Jeff's death. And of course, Corey's like, yeah, I remember that. And then he goes, but without Jeff, I wouldn't be married to that hot babe. It's like, oh, dude, you really going to do that? You're just going to be that bunch of an asshole.
Yep.
It's like every time you think these guys are kind of good, they're like, they just do something totally deplorable to not redeem themselves anymore.
They show their true colors for sure.
Yeah.
And
that's why I was like, none of these, even her, like, I don't have any sympathy for any of them. I was like, and I guess I kind of felt cheated with Corey and Trina because like I thought, man, they need to die. I don't care.
Yeah.
Let the killer win. I don't care who it is.
I wish they would have. I know that like, hey, maybe sometimes you need the final girl or whatever, but like I really wish he would have like just been able to take everybody out and like in the bloodiest of ways, because like the reveals of like Diane and John in the car were pretty neat looking. Like he still has the thing sticking out of it, the pole sticking out. She's in the car with an icicle in her eye. That would look really cool. Again, no pun intended. She's the only one that was really iced. Her and Wednesday Addams. I can't remember her name.
Elisa Loring.
Yeah. No, I mean her name in the movie.
Which one? Diane?
Yeah, Diane. No, not Diane. Jeanette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like her and the other one are the only ones that really got iced. But other than that, I guess I don't know. Maybe 3.5 is a little low. I was going to say 4, but maybe I don't know. Again, talking about it, I would like to revisit it again sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is. It's not a tough watch, but it kind of is. I guess because of the quality and the
quality and again, there's some editing issues in there. Character, it's like you try to build this character development, but then you got guys like Carl where we don't really know where his character is coming from. Like he's definitely troubled in some way. We just don't know why.
Yeah,
it's a really weird thing. I don't know. They were trying to use that as like, is Carl a killer? Like I don't know what they were trying to do with that character.
I think that's exactly what they were trying to do. Like I'm the whole time I'm thinking, what's up with this guy? He's either he's the killer or something bad he's gonna do, because he kind of pretty much did, or we don't see it. I assume he probably did do that to her. I think he probably made his way. But the one thing when Alex came, which I thought was a clever line, like where she says to him, "No, stay a while," and he goes, "No, I can't stay because I have to get. If I stay, then I won't be able to leave because of the snow." And she goes, "I know," or something like that. It's like,
well, he says something like, she's like, "It's snowing." He's like, "Well, it's going to do it all night." She's
yeah. She's like, "I know." Like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm getting
He's
lazy.
like, oh, frisky are we? Well, I have my pick ready for next week, actually.
Okay, good.
It is a 2020 film called Tin Can.
Oh, never heard of
And
that.
when you go on Tubi, check out the trailer before you watch it because it looks like it's going to be a mind fuck. So I love these kind of films.
If that's all the space they have in this movie, it's gonna really make me.
It looks pretty fucking bizarre, dude. Like
Oh,
I don't know if it's good or bad. I've never seen it, but it's been on my list for a while.
okay.
And I was kind of going through and I'm like, let me check out the trailer again because I did want to see this. And then I'm watching, I'm like, this looks fucking crazy as fuck. So I'm gonna throw Tony a wrench here and see what he does with it.
Tin Can.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds good. Yeah,
So
I've
do you
never
have
heard
anything?
of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, up until I put it on my list, I hadn't either. I just kind of forgot about it because there's so many films I want to get to, but
Yeah.
so little time. But on your channel, you got anything else coming up that you're going to be doing?
Just the usual stuff I always say. In October, I'm getting those boxes in. Nothing really. Just this and stuff with Kevin.
Yeah,
And other than that, not much. I mean, I have other things coming in the mail. I'm going to do a pickups video eventually, but other than that, no, it's kind of like it's been going. That's kind of what I'm doing.
yeah, cool.
What about you?
Let's see. Nothing much this week except for Friday evening. I will be joining Century for a Pitch Black review. We'll be talking about that film. Future wise, obviously, I've told people this in some of my other videos I've done this week that I'm scaling back a little bit because we're in the process of trying to get moved. Things are starting to move along now, so that's good.
Good.
So we're just getting packed and stuff. So the content I have to cut it back a little bit, but I am going to try. I'm going to do the cinematic synergy with Kevin for the sadness on the 10th, and then I'm going to be there for you guys when you do the subspecies franchise. I'll be there for that one because I really want to do that.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's all I got really going on right now in terms of that. I have some stuff I might do throughout, like my own stuff, but top 10 list type stuff. But other than that, not a whole lot. Just kind of fit them in when I can. You know how I mean?
Right. Oh, and we should announce too that now you can listen to this Ghouls of Midnight
Yes.
on the Metal Tavern Radio.
So Mr. Big Brain over there says, hey, man, we should put this in audio podcast. Like, well, you know what? I do have an audio podcast site, Podbean, Metal Time Radio. So usually Nick and I use that for the interviews that I do, both YouTube and there, and then Classic Reflections, where we review an album of the past that we really like. But it makes sense to try to put some of this stuff. I might even do some of my cinematic synergy stuff as well. But I will be putting the Ghouls of Midnight every episode up on the podcast. So if you go to Podbean, there are some other sites I listed on the Facebook page when I made the post. There's other podcast things you can get on your phone or on your desktop to listen to our podcast. So all our past 7 episodes, this will be number 8, which I'll have up by today as well. And then you guys can check it out both while at work or whatever if you're not able to watch. So very good idea from this man over here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Might as well utilize that site. It's only like $4 or $5 to have this site, but might as well put it to use more than I have been.
Yeah. And all of them are up there right now, right?
Yep, all of them are up there. They're starting to get some hits. Let me see real quick. I'll just take a gander. I mean,
I've been on podcasts and stuff, but I've never done I ever made a podcast. That's why I was like, how do you do this?
Yeah, all I would do is just take the YouTube and transfer it to MP3, and then I throw it up. So we got 3 on our Black Christmas already on there, 2 on the Death Artist, 3 on Strangeland, 2 on the Curve, 2 on the Kiss, and 4 on Summer Camp, and then 3 on Reptilicus. So they're starting to come in. Yeah. I average about like 30 to 80 views and downloads usually. So
is that
it
views?
It tends to do pretty good. What's that?
Is that views on those, or is that downloads?
Downloads.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, because some people don't have time to sit and watch. So like they'll like to tune in and just check out stuff via audio. because
Nice.
it's not important to see our faces; they just want to hear the content. So,
Right.
all right. Well, this concludes another episode of the Ghouls of Midnight. We
That's
appreciate
right.
the support. Please go subscribe and like this man's stuff. It's very
Yeah.
important you do so.
And that
You can
guy-
like and subscribe to this channel too if you wish. We enjoy all the support that you give us, surely.
Yes.
And if you have any ideas, man, you guys out there that like this show and what we're doing, I hope you like it. Give us some recommendations, man. Maybe we'll put up a poll at some point and say, hey, you pick the one we go to do.
There you go.
So maybe we'll play around with that a little bit as Tony and I will talk about that. But either way, thanks again. Give us your comments on this film, what you thought of it, if you liked it or didn't. Do you think it deserves a reboot?
Or a sequel.
Sequel, either one. Yeah. But we will see you the next time on the Ghouls of Midnight.
Just before you die.